Predict conflicts is compliance software for a specific operational decision, predicts potential regulatory conflicts between jurisdictions based on historical data and emerging trends. This video explains what the tool does, why the workflow matters, and how the output becomes useful decision evidence. The problem is that compliance teams often manage this workflow with scattered inputs, inconsistent review rules, and manual interpretation. At quarantadue.ai, every MCP workflow starts from the real tool interface, not from a generic prompt. The goal is simple. Keep the expert in control while the system structures the evidence. Inputs, reasoning, and outputs stay connected in one reviewable flow. Now the results become easier to compare, easier to review, and easier to explain. Predict conflicts narrows that process into a repeatable model so teams can compare cases without rebuilding the logic each time. Predict conflicts starts with a defined input contract. Typical inputs include first jurisdiction, second jurisdiction, regulatory area, historical regulatory divergence, and legislative trajectory alignment. Keeping these fields explicit reduces ambiguity and makes every run easier to audit. The workflow then applies calculate the base conflict probability by weighting historical regulatory divergence against legislative trajectory alignment, where historical divergence contributes more heavily and legislative convergence reduces risk. Determine the enforcement strictness multiplier based on the ratio of enforcement strictness between the two jurisdictions, with higher ratios indicating greater compliance cost disparities and regulatory conflict risk. Calculate the geopolitical risk adjustment by combining the current geopolitical tension index with consideration of emerging legislative trends that may amplify or mitigate conflict probability. Compute the final predicted conflict score by applying the enforcement multiplier to the base probability, adding the geopolitical adjustment, and capping at a 100% maximum. And categorize the conflict risk level based on the predicted conflict score: low 0-30%, medium 31 to 60%, high 61 to 85%, critical 86 to 100%. This keeps the process deterministic, reviewable, and aligned with how compliance teams actually make decisions. Predict conflicts returns structured outputs such as predicted conflict score, risk level, base conflict probability, enforcement multiplier, and conflict probability gauge. These outputs are designed to support review, reporting, comparison, and follow-up actions. The value of predict conflicts is not just automation, it is a controlled way to turn repeated compliance work into a documented business process with clear inputs, transparent logic, and reusable outputs.